This has been a way long overdue haul with pretty much a month's worth of purchases here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this haul video. Hey guys, welcome into another haul video here, haul video number 147, ever closer to 150, but hope you guys are having a great day, great week, great month. Yeah, welcome into this haul video. So as I mentioned, this is a lot of stuff here. This is pretty much a month's worth of collecting of stuff for me. This is basically all the stuff that I've accumulated aside from my Baltimore Comic-Con haul. So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go recommend to go back and see that, which is the previous haul video here, after you see this one, of course. But yeah, anyways, guys, hope you have a great day. But yeah, this is a lot of good stuff here. Again, just Lego and comics this time, no cards. Kind of just drifted away from that hobby, to be honest, but that's a whole other topic, I guess. But yeah, so a lot of good Lego purchases here, a lot of good comic book purchases. So I'll kind of explain where I got all that stuff from in the haul videos sections here. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this haul video on this very rainy day. Actually, hurricane or tropical storm Ophelia is coming through the area right now as I film this. So perfect day to do a haul video. So let's go ahead and get into that, starting with the comics. All right, guys, welcome into the comic book section here for haul video 147. So yeah, as I mentioned, a lot of good purchases here. I do have some action figures that I'll show here as well in this section, just because they're more comic book related than Lego, obviously. So I figured I'd just throw them into here as well. But before I get into that, I do want to talk about what I've been reading so far since the last haul. So the last haul, I did talk about Ex Machina and how I was starting my X-Men Silver Age read-through. I have since continued that. I finished the Children of the Atom Epic Collection there, which was the first Epic Collection for X-Men, and that was a slog to get through, but definitely had some high points. I like the Sentinel storyline, which I think is issues 14 through 16. So that was nice. A lot of good introductions. I thought the Juggernaut issue, introducing the Juggernaut for the first time, was a cool issue. Just kind of building up to his, first appearance there was kind of cool. But yeah, since then I have now moved over to the second Epic Collection. I'm about a little over halfway through that one, which is The Lonely Are the Hunted, which collects, I think, issues 24 through 45, I believe. Which, funny enough, I've actually already read issue 45 because it's a 2-issue crossover with Avengers. So I'm probably gonna end up skipping that one towards the end of that book there. But it definitely is picking up a little bit better now. It's insane to me how long it takes me to read a single issue of Silver Age stuff. I'm sure a lot of people on this who are watching this and read comics can attest, Silver Age comics is just really, really hard to get through in terms of reading. It definitely isn't like a 10-minute read per issue. Sometimes the issues take me half hour to read, which I know you're probably wondering, wow, Dan, that's really slow, but that's just the way it is. Obviously I have some distractions going on sometimes too, my cat and everything, but that's a whole other story there. So yeah, so my plan is to get through that one and then finish with the Sentinels Live Epic Collection. I don't have the Always Darkest Before the Dawn Epic Collection just because it has like a bunch of like filler appearance books, stuff that I already own. So I'm like, I didn't need to get that one. So then after that, my plan is to read X-Men Classic, the omnibus that I have, kind of just fill in my backlog gap of information there for X-Men. While I was reading that, I also was finishing up my Captain Marvel read through. So I did read all of the Magnificent Captain Marvel, I think it is. Is that what it is? The Mighty Captain Marvel. I'm getting Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel mixed together. Yeah, so I did read the Mighty Captain Marvel storyline by Margaret Stoll, I want to say her name is. It was all right. Actually, the third volume is one of the books I have in my haul here, so I'll kind of show that as a spoiler here. But I did read that. Didn't really enjoy it as much. It was kind of just a continuation of her being with Alpha Flight in space, which by this point, you know, I don't know, 20, 30 issues later, I'm kind of tired of her being in space with Alpha Flight. So, yeah, I'm kind of done with that. So I was kind of just like going through the motions, reading through that story, just wanted to see how it ended up, you know, kind of involved this like Kree child named Hala or whatever. It was definitely not my cup of tea. Yeah, so that's what it is. I also read Old Man Hawkeye, so I read through those two trades pretty quickly. You can actually see it over here on my shelf. Well, not really. It's kind of hard to see with the thin trade dress there, but yeah. So now I've completed my whole Hawkeye collection of reading, which is not that much to be honest, but yeah, Old Man Hawkeye surprised me. I was going into it with very low expectations, but definitely had a really good supporting cast. You know, had Kate Bishop as his main kind of like person that was supporting him. Bullseye being the enemy, you know, Red Skull, Baron Zemo. I thought it was, you know, a lot of recognizable faces. The inclusion of the Thunderbolts as like the people who like betrayed them, you know, in the past, I thought was interesting. So, and the art was pretty good. You know, the action, definitely plenty of action. So, I would recommend, like, if you're obviously a fan of Hawkeye, Clint Barton, definitely recommend checking that book out. You know, those two trades are pretty readily available, so you can find them pretty much anywhere. But yeah, thought it was a really fun read. Went through them pretty quickly, so there's that. But and yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. And one of the books in this haul is actually one of the books I've started reading, along with my readathon of the X-Men Epic Collection. So I'll show you what that is here shortly. But with that long intro aside, let's go ahead and get into this haul here. So starting off here with the thumbnail for this video, I picked this up yesterday at Target for 20% off, and it is Batman Justice Buster Volume 1. So this is a Batman manga. Yeah, kind of interested. I mean, it's really interesting to me, you know, how a lot of, you know, Marvel and DC, like, characters are being adapted into manga now. I don't know if that's just something that has just now started all of a sudden. I know there's been, you know, Bat manga for a while, and that's been a whole separate thing, and I don't know what this is really all about. It doesn't really have a little blurb on the back to explain what it is, so I will just read it and find out. But yeah, like I said, this is interesting because this joins kind of like, you know, Deadpool, Spider-Man with like all these like Marvel and DC characters that have been adapted, that are being adapted now into manga. I'm not complaining. You know, I'm a big fan of manga. I don't really read that much, to be honest. Like, I have a few series that I collect. I mean, obviously, I did talk about it on this channel previously that I've read the entirety of Attack on Titan, which I really enjoyed. And, you know, I know that if I need to catch up in terms of like my pace of reading, I can always count on manga to get me that, because I can easily read one of these volumes in a day. You know, manga is a really quick read. So yeah, really excited. Didn't really even know this wasn't really on my radar, but I'm really happy I picked this up. So hopefully they make more of these, which I'm sure they will. All right, next book I also got at Target, and this one I saw it and I kind of like, you know, held back on it because I wasn't sure if this was like kind of for kids, and maybe it is for kids and I just am a, you know, grown child or not. But pick this up. This is the Captain America: The Ghost Army. This is like an original graphic novel of Captain America, which Again, I don't think it's published in any other format besides like this little like digest sized format here. You know, I think this is more targeted towards little kids, but to be honest, this art really pops to me. Kind of reminds me of like Silver Age art, to be honest. You know, really pops off the page, and I really like that look there. The coloring's really nice too, so definitely will throw this into my Captain America readathon, which I know I've talked about ad nauseum on this channel, which probably will be starting up towards the end of this year into the beginning of next year as we get ready for the Captain America Brave New World movie. I think that's what it got renamed to. I think it used to be, it was going to be called New World Order, but then they changed it. But yeah, really excited to pick this up for a decent price there too. All right. And next book here is the book that I explained that I actually already read, and that is the Mighty Captain Marvel Volume 3 here, called Dark Origins. This collects Captain Marvel numbers 125 through 129. So they renumbered this, I guess, just for the anniversary, like numbering or legacy numbering of Captain Marvel. Excuse me, but yeah, this was a decent story. You can obviously see this book I bought here from Amazon is actually a former library book, hence the lamination on the top, and then obviously the scan barcode and stuff like that on the sides. But yeah, this was all right. It kind of had like a story where Captain Marvel went through like this wormhole into like an altered dimension where like Thanos was the good guy, and then she was actually the bad guy of the story, and then Star-Lord was like a bounty hunter, and it was a little weird. I didn't really like it that much, but I just was glad when it was over. But yeah, so already read this, and we'll throw this onto the shelf with the rest of the series there. So this kind of fills the gap between the Earth's Mightiest Heroes collections, which I think are all collected in omnibus now at this point, and then the Life of Captain Marvel, which is like a little mini series, and then we get into Kelly Thompson's run, which is the second most recent run now that has been launched, because I think there was another Captain Marvel series that launched in this year in 2023. So yeah, ever so closer to getting back to present day here with the character. So yeah, really cool to pick this up as well. Next book I got here was another Champions book that I needed, and this is Champions Killer App by Danny Lore, Luciano Vecchio, and Federico Blee. This collects issues 6 through 10 of the 2020 Champions series. So obviously I need to go back and find volume 1 of this series, which, you know, I'll definitely be on the lookout for, like a Second Charles or something. I'm not going to go like crazy out of my way to find a book, you know, this book. But yeah, it's really insane how big my Champions corner is now becoming now. I have the 2 classic collections, which I've already read, and then 6 volumes of you know, more modern day Champions ever since pretty much the all new, all different, like relaunch stuff back in 2015. So this is, I think, like the 3rd Champion series to come out of that. So yeah, really interesting here. You still have the same core of characters here. Miss Marvel, you have you know, Vision's daughter, which I can't for the life of me remember what her name is. You have, you know, Ironheart, you have, you know, Nova, Miles Morales. So pretty nice team. I like their dynamic, and I'm excited to read this eventually once I find that volume 1. Again, kind of not really huge on the radar there. It seems like when I don't look for it, it shows up in stores and I just buy it. So I'm not going to go too crazy for that. Another volume I picked up here of another series I've been collecting in trade paperback is Avengers. Volume 6 here of Jason Aaron's run. This collects issues 26 through 30 of that Avengers run. This is titled Star Brand Reborn. So you can see here some pretty nice art going on there. But Yeah, so I know in the last haul, I showed volume 9 of this run, so I still have to get 7 and 8, which I'm sure I'll be able to find. I've been able to find them for decent prices online, so I'm sure I'll find them, you know, and collect them at some point. So not in a huge rush there, but yeah, really excited to get this. All right, so I am back because I had to sneeze again. What haul video is complete without me sneezing? So if you hear me sniffling a little bit, it's because I just got done blowing my nose. So there's that. But yeah, the last book I just showed was The Avengers Volume 6. So we'll get into some of the other books here. Next book I got here is the last volume that I needed for an Image series that I was collecting, not for a really long time, probably since the beginning of this year, and that is Manifest Destiny Volume 8. So got this on IST for, you know, about 40% off or so. This collects issues 43 for 48, and again, this is the conclusion of the series. So, you know, wanted to get this just to have this concluded and to finish off the series. And really, again, I've talked about this a couple of times, but I've really enjoyed the art going on in this book, and really excited to read this series at some point. You know, obviously, during my readathon of Captain America next year, I'm definitely going to be reading other like series consecutively, like, or, you know, in tandem with my Captain America readathon, just so I don't get so bogged down with the Silver Age stuff in Captain America. You know, I want to keep my pace up every year. I know that sounds a little weird to say, but like, I do want to make sure that I'm making a good chunk of reading every year, and so I'll probably be knocking out some of these Image series along with my Captain America readathon. So definitely stay tuned for my thoughts on those. All right, getting into some thicker trade paperbacks here. Picked up some stuff that I was really looking forward to, that I was really anticipating to collect at some point. And the first one here is the infamous Iron Man collection here by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, you know, some other people as well. But yeah, I know I've talked about this a couple of times. The infamous Iron Man series was infamously hard to find. For some reason, that first trade was like super out of print, and I just couldn't find it really at any of my normal retailers. And then once I heard that Marvel was coming out with this collection, which collects issues 1 through 12 of Infamous Iron Man, as well as Invincible Iron Man numbers 593 to 600, I decided to upgrade to this, and then I will be selling my volume 2 of Infamous Iron Man, and then also the Search for Tony Stark, which is essentially those issues of Invincible Iron Man that we have in here, which I remember picking up at like a free comic book day store like for $5 a while ago, so not like I paid a lot of money for it. But yeah, this is a nice thick paperback here of Iron Man material that I'm just really hankering to get into. And again, with some Alex Maleev art, you really can't go wrong with that. I really enjoyed his artwork, so this is going to be a really nice treat to read. And again, this is a gap of my Iron Man read-throughs that I haven't read yet. So I pretty much read everything up until, I believe, Gillen's or Bendis's like normal like Iron Man run. I read, you know, his Invincible Iron Man stuff and then the International Iron Man. So I'm missing this part of his like time on Iron Man, as well as the Ironheart stuff. So I got to go back and read through all that, kind of finish that off at some point, which obviously there's nothing holding me back from doing that now. And then at that point we would get into, you know, the Tony Stark stuff, which I'm probably going to go back and read through just because I jumped off pretty early in that book and came back pretty late into that book. So there's a huge gap of stuff that I haven't read there. So I'm going to punish myself and put myself through that. But then I'll be rewarded with Christopher Cantwell's run and then Jerry Duggan's run. So that's kind of the agenda there. Again, I'm still filling in some gaps of Cantwell's, and obviously Jerry Duggan's is ongoing, so I'm not going to have everything right now. But yeah, that's the plan for Iron Man. And then I'll pretty much be all caught up with my Iron Man stuff, which is kind of sad to think about, to be honest, you know, because he's my favorite character, and, you know, no new material to read, but I'm sure that, you know, there'll be other Epic collections that come out. I know there's some 90s Iron Man stuff that I still haven't read in collected edition yet, so I'll be looking for those at some point. But yeah, that's the plan. Really, really cool. Just a nice treat to see that book be collected. It just honestly came out of the blue for me, and I remember my friend posted about it, and I was like so hyped for it once I saw that solicitation. I'm like, yes, I need to get this. So really, really cool, and a nice thick book too, which I really like. All right, moving on to some other thicker books here. Picked up Fantastic Four Epic Collection here. This is the Crusader Syndrome. So this is issues 147 through 167 and giant size issues 2 through 4, as well as Avengers 127. So this is the Jerry Conway run here. Some Roy Thomas. I think Rich Buckler is the name of the artist. Maybe not. John Buscema, George Perez. So yeah, some really, really good writers and artists on this book. That honestly looked like Jack Kirby artwork there, but yeah, this is some really good classic Fantastic Four stuff. Obviously, this is way past the Lee and Kirby era, but still, I think something that I'm really looking forward to reading. Just some really nice, out of this world artwork. My Fantastic Four readathon probably won't be starting too much after the Captain America readathon, because Fantastic Four is coming out in 2025, so we're getting pretty close to that. And looking at this book, I actually just noticed, I don't know if you guys can see it, but you notice how this top part here, and it's not just because of the way I'm holding it, but this is a little bit longer than this part. That's going to be a little annoying. Huh. I'd be curious to see if anyone else, like, I don't know if you can see that, but I wonder if anyone else has that issue. So you can let me know maybe down in the comments. It's like the first half of the book has like, is slightly longer than the second half of the cut there. That's weird. Also, one thing I want to mention with this book too that I talked about with my friends, this is probably the first Epic collection I've seen where the bubbles, the speech bubbles are actually included on the cover, and the cover has not been recolored. Usually with any other Epic collection that I could probably pull down here and show, the cover is always slightly recolored, just to kind of make it a little bit more modern looking, if that makes sense. But this one kept the exact same, you know, color artwork style that the original issue has, and it has the speech bubbles. So I was asking my friends about it, because like it doesn't really bother me. I just thought that was a really interesting like standout that kind of stuck with me, and it took me a little bit of time to realize it, because I was looking at it the other day and I'm like, huh, why are the speech bubbles on here? But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, really, really fun to get this one though, and a nice addition to the group. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think we now have volumes 1 through 9 consecutively for Fantastic Four. I don't think we're missing a gap there. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think we have, at some point, obviously they're going to reprint some stuff, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I have now collected issues, or volumes 1 through 9 of Fantastic Four. So we're slowly bridging that gap between the Fantastic Four, like other writers, and then John Byrne's omnibus, which I have. So yeah, really, really excited, and hopefully by the time I get to that readathon, I'll have a straight shot there of stuff I can read. So really looking forward to reading that Fantastic Four stuff. That's like one of the last like pillars of Marvel history that I have yet to uncover. And it's ironic because like Fantastic Four was like the flagship book for the you know, the company for so long, until like X-Men came along, and you know, Avengers and all this other stuff. So you know, I'm really excited to get into that and to experience all those classic stories for the first time. So all right, moving in here to some other books. We have New Mutants Epic Collection here as Guardian Wars. So obviously, as the name suggests, this does this does kind of dovetail with the Asgardian Wars stuff that I have, which I think is collected in an omnibus. But there are some additional issues of New Mutants in here that aren't collected in that omnibus, so that's why I picked this up. And also at the time of this purchasing, this was slightly more discounted on IST, so it was around, like, I think it was around 50% off, so I jumped on that because I'm like, this is a pretty good deal for this. This collects New Mutants numbers 32 through 44, as well as Annual number 2, New Mutants Special Edition number 1, and X-Men Annual number 9. This is the third volume, so this comes after the Demon Bear Epic Collection. So, you know, we still have Claremont here on the books. I believe Louise Simonson hasn't taken over writing duties yet for this, but you can see here definitely some, you know, obviously I think Bill Sienkiewicz is off this book at this point, but some of the art that's here is obviously kind of still heavily inspired from his style, so you can kind of see where that's going. But yeah, we're definitely getting into an age of Marvel Comics that I feel like I really like. I've always talked about like the mid 80s into the 90s as like my sweet spot for reading when it comes to Marvel. So I'm really excited to read this book and get this. This was on my wish list for a while and I just never decided to go for it. But yeah, and I think this is the Beyonder as well on the front cover, if I'm not mistaken, which I think this does double dip a little bit with Secret Wars 2, so I might have to see which issues I've already read in here and skip those. Yeah, because I think there's one issue where like the New Mutants basically try to attack the Beyonder and he just like shrugs them off and he's like, why are you attacking me? So yeah, there's that. Really cool to get that book. All right, some other Epic collections here I bought. Went ham on some Epic collections, but these were all kind of sitting on my IST wish list for a while, so I decided, you know, what the hell, let's just get them before they go out of print. Picked up this Thor Epic collection, Even in Immortal Can Die. This is a gap of Thor stuff back from the 1970s, late 70s, that I just didn't own and didn't exist until about a couple months ago, to be honest. So I went ahead and picked this up. This collects issues 260 through 280, as well as annuals number 6 through 7, and Marvel Preview number 10 of Thor. Len Wein, Roy Thomas, John Buscema, Walter Simonson. So definitely some really nice writers here on this. I do like Len Wein's writing. I believe this is post Conway's run, which I really didn't like Conway's run of Thor, to be honest. I thought it was pretty meh. You know, I think Len Wein's is going to be pretty good. And obviously this is getting ever so closer. This is between Conway and Simonson. So, you know, I'm excited. I think this art really pops. You know, there's definitely some nice artwork going on here. I think I've shown a lot of panels already, but this seems like a really nice read through. So I'm excited to get this a read at some point. Not sure when I want to go back and kind of revisit some of these Thor Epic collections. I did get the Thor Blood and Thunder Epic collection a while ago, and I did read that after I read Infinity Crusade, just because like those issues kind of directly followed after the events of Infinity Crusade, so I was like, you know what, might as well just read it right then and there. But I still have this Epic collection to read, and the next one I'm going to show you, and then also World Engine that I need to finish, or I need to read. But every other Thor Epic I've read, so I'll have to see how I want to tackle that at some point. And then obviously recently read Gillen's run, so all I have left to read for Thor pretty much now is some of these epics that I got to fill in, Fraction, and then we get into Jason Aaron. So I'm waiting for the second omnibus of Jason Aaron to come out before I kind of continue that. But again, not really huge on the list here right now, just because I have so much other stuff to read. I'm sure that when we get a 5th Thor film, which doesn't seem too crazy to think about at this point now, which is so funny to me that we're talking about 5 Thor films. Yeah, I think that's when I might pick that up and read that, so we'll see. Okay. Next book here, as I mentioned earlier, is another Thor epic. This is the Hell on Earth epic collection here for Thor. This collects issues 476 through 490. And I believe this comes before World Engine. So that's why I was waiting on this book, because I wanted to read this and then read World Engine. Yeah, so definitely getting to the era of Thor, and for most books, honestly, where the art was definitely prioritized over the stories in a lot of cases, but hell, I'm not complaining. Some of this art looks really fantastic, and I'm just so excited to jump into this. Yeah, this just seems like a really fun read for me. Just some classic 90s stuff that I think is going to be enjoyable to read through there. So yeah, picked this up and able to get this. I think this one was slightly on sale too. It came out recently, and I waited, and it went a little bit more on sale than what it usually goes for on IST, so I went and picked that up, and I'm glad I got that for a decent price. So yeah, and then the next book I got here is actually the book that I am reading right now, along with my Epic collection for X-Men, and that is the Captain Marvel Omnibus by Kelly Thompson. So opted for the Alex Ross cover, obviously. But yeah, this is a nice book here. Ironically enough, I did see this book at the Baltimore Comic-Con. I could have saved an additional $10 buying it there, but I had already placed the order, and this book was already packed and ready to be shipped to me by the time I saw this, so I didn't want to go through the headache of having to do all that just for $10, so I just decided to eat that and deal with it as it was. But as you can see here, I just started it, so maybe that's a little bit better indication of where I'm at. But yeah, I'm 2 issues in, really enjoying it so far. Carol is back on Earth. She's with the Avengers, and you know, then she gets sucked into a portal where she's fighting with like Jessica Drew and people. So it's interesting. I'm being cautiously optimistic. It's funny, there's actually even a part of this book where somebody makes a comment about how they're like, I guess she was back in space, but now she retired or whatever. And then I think it's one of her friends, I don't know if it's Jessica Drew or whoever, but one of them's like, yeah, I'm so glad you're not in space anymore. I hated it when you were in space. So, yeah, clearly some shade being thrown there to the direction of the character, but yeah, and then also we have some nice moments with Rhodey. So Rhodey's back from the dead after being killed in Civil War II. So nice to see that relationship being reacquainted again. That's not the right word, but you guys know what I mean. So really cool to read this. And this is, again, a really nice book, and just a really fun cover here too. Just all the different versions of her throughout the years. You know, you had the original Miss Marvel, and then the redone version, and then obviously Captain Marvel and Binary on the bottom there. So really looking forward to reading that. Really like the cover, or I really like the logo of this book too. It kind of harkens back to like the Captain Marvel series from like the early 2000s with Peter David, I think. So, or maybe it's the 90s. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't read it yet, so hopefully I can at some point. All right, and then the last book I picked up here was the first Treasury Edition book that I grabbed. So I know in the last haul video I talked about Carnage, Black, White, and Blood. This was the first Treasury Edition book I grabbed. I actually got this the day before I went on the Baltimore Comic-Con trip, and that is Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise Treasury Edition here by Tradd Moore. This collects issues 1 through 4 of the series, and yeah, obviously picked this up because I'm a huge Tradd Moore fan. Well, not really a huge Tradd Moore fan, but I read Silver Surfer Black, I believe is the first book I read with his art in it, and wow, did it stand out to me. Yeah, it really stuck with me. His art style, you know, everything about it was just very fun, and I picked this up totally not even knowing what Treasury Edition meant, and I was like, well, it's Tradd Moore, so I'll like it. And I didn't realize that it meant it was a huge ass book. So you can see here just some artwork going on. This is just, the art just really pops in this book. You can see here, this is what Doctor Strange comics should be. And I'm just really excited to read this. It's a thin book, obviously, but I definitely think it's worth the price of admission. I got this for $12. So definitely got it on a good sale on IST. Original price for this is $30, which it's not too bad. You know, if you get the discount, even then it's still not a bad price for a big book like this. You know, you're paying for the very oversized reading experience of this. I mean, everything's just very crystal clear. The art's really pops and shines with a book this big. And I'm really, really excited to get this. So yeah, this was my last comic for this section here. And then in conclusion here, I did, like I said earlier, pick up some action figures a couple weeks ago at this point, which I will probably be displaying with my stuff in the back here. And some of those are the Marvel Legends figures for Iron Man. So found this one and really, really enjoyed that art there from Tales of Suspense number 39. Yeah, this is really, really cool. You know, obviously the first armor that Tony Stark designs, and some really cool accessories there, but wanted to get this just so I can put this again with my other action figures, my other Marvel Legends figures that I have in my collection here, which at this point, like I said, I'm just strictly looking at Iron Man stuff. I'm not really into collecting a bunch of other stuff, so there's that. Really cool to get that one. And then the next one here I picked up, I actually had this in my hands at Walmart, and it was actually really expensive at Walmart, so I put it back, and sure enough, it was a lot cheaper at Target, and so I ended up picking that up, and that is the Iron Man Legends, or Heroes Reborn, I'm sorry, Heroes Return, not Heroes Reborn, wow, that's a bad slip there, Heroes Return armor, which, for anyone who's curious, like what era of comics this represents, this is the Kurt Busiek and Sean Chen omnibus, pretty much. This is the armor that he wears during that period of time. And obviously this is after the Heroes Reborn era, which was a mess for Marvel that didn't go anywhere, and so they relaunched it again. And yeah, really, really fun. I love the little spikes in this armor. It harkens back to, I think, Model 3 or Model 4, whatever that was, or Mark 3. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to unbox these, display them with the rest of my Iron Man figures here in the collection, and kind of line them all up in chronological order of when they appear in the books. So that will be really fun. So yeah, really, really hyped to get these. And that is my comic haul. I know that probably took a really long time, so thank you guys for sticking with me with that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the Lego section here for this haul. Alright guys, thank you again for tuning back into this video here. So we're gonna go through my Lego haul here. So this is, again, like I said, probably about a month's worth of collecting of Lego for me, which honestly doesn't sound like a lot, you know, when you look at what I have, but to me it's a lot actually. Like, you know, obviously I'm cutting back a lot on what I'm spending, and there's certain themes that I'm just not picking stuff up for anymore, just because, you know, space-wise and stuff like that, and just, again, trying to save money for a wedding and what have you. But did go ahead and pick up a good arrangement of stuff here. I have some poly bags, as you can hear, so we'll go through what those are. First one I picked up here, and I have about, like, I want to say 4 or 5 of these, is the Batman 1992 poly bag here. And as soon as this was announced, I was really, really hyped to pick this up, and for the longest time it was impossible to find in a store, and sure enough, Walmart of all places was the store that this set ended up being at. So went to my local Walmart and picked up a shit ton of these. I built one already, so I'll keep that one, but I do have 2 here that I'm going to keep sealed, and I think I also bought another 2. I think this is probably one of the first poly bags that I bought like more than 3 of at a time, and it's just because it has a minifigure in it, really. I mean, I think that's the biggest draw for this set, is that 1989 Batman, which only has come in like way more expensive sets recently. I think even the smaller Batmobile sets, I don't think have that cape piece in it. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what drew me to pick those up. So I got those. And conversely to that, this was actually, these poly bags are actually 2 poly bags that I decided for the first time to only buy one copy of. And just because, again, I don't think these are going to do too well reselling, and two, I don't really have an interest to open up one of these and build them. So the first one here is a Dreams polybag. So this is the new theme that LEGO launched this year, which I hate to say this. I know this sounds really pessimistic and kind of mean, but I honestly don't see this theme lasting more than a year. I definitely think it's going to be canceled by this time next year, but that's just me, so we'll see. But yeah, pick this up just to have as an extra thing to maybe resell one day. And then also picked up the Ninjago one, just because, again, this has minifigures, and I just, you know, maybe if I see this again, I might grab another one just so I can keep the minifigures if I wanted to use them for something later down the line. But for right now, I just want to pick this up because it's also very rare, now that I think about it, that you get a polybag that includes 2 minifigures. So I think that's really interesting that we have this, and now that I think about it, maybe I need to find more of these, so we'll see. Ninjago is insanely popular for what it is. I have never had an interest in it, but I know like it must be selling because it's been around for at least a decade, I think, if not longer. So yeah, so those were all the polybags I ended up grabbing. I think we have like one more season of polybags that are coming out here. Like we have some of the polybags that are coming out for, like, you know, the like Christmas time, so I'll be interested to see what that is. But yeah, for right now, I'm kind of being a little bit more, have a little bit more discretion when it comes to polybag purchasing. You know, once I open up and build them, I don't know really what to do with them. I just kind of keep them all together in a bin, you know, built, and then, you know, obviously the ones I keep sealed, I'm putting into a bin as well. So I might need to readjust those at some point. So, all right, next thing I grabbed here was what I picked up. I actually picked this up last night at Target. I was looking for the Marvel Series 2 minifigure packs, which I've had no luck finding them at any store. So I actually saw on Target they have a six count like blind pack that you can buy for the minifigures, which I think I might just break down and buy because, you know, that's my only chance to really find them. And who knows, maybe I'll find 6 unique figures in there. You know, I can only hope. I think I have a better chance of finding 6 unique figures in a blind box that LEGO sells to me versus buying them separately at the store. So we'll see. But wanted to pick one of these up. It has been a long time since I bought a Super Mario set, and I don't know if I talked about it on this channel yet, but I actually did go and sell like most of my LEGO Super Mario sets. I think I sold them for like 150, 200 bucks. Like I sold a whole lot of them to somebody for like 200 bucks, which is pretty cool. The only sets that I currently have are like these little mini builds that I have, as well as the I still kept the Mario and Luigi figures like from the starter packs, and then I also have the NES. So, but that's it. I don't really have any other Mario sets anymore. We recently got an announcement about this like kind of like helmet set size version of a Piranha Plant that I'm probably gonna pick up at some point. But yeah, I wanted to grab one of these just in the hopes that I can find Birdo, because Birdo was kind of like one of my like one of those characters that I kind of liked growing up, because she was in a Mario Party game that I played with my sisters when I was growing up. So I kind of wanted to see if I can find her in one of these packs. So fingers crossed that we'll find these. I will say though, these are nice to have like bigger versions of these, because ever since LEGO went to this type of like box for these character packs here, they did go ahead and give us like bigger sets. So I understand that the box is an issue, right? You can't really feel it to feel like what type of figures in here. But with these, it's kind of hard to tell anyway, just because they're all like pieces and stuff. But I did like that the trade-off was that they gave us a more substantial build in these. So gotta give them kudos for that at least. All right. Moving on here, we'll move up to some other smaller sets here. So went ahead and picked up some other stuff. I picked up the Thanos mech, which to be honest, I'm probably going to build and then scrap for parts and then keep the Thanos fig. I think this is exclusive to this set. I don't think this is the same one we got in the original Thanos mech that came out in like 2020, I want to say. But yeah, interesting build. It's always nice to get an Infinity Gauntlet too if you're looking into that type of stuff. But otherwise, yeah, kind of funny build here. Just seeing like Thanos' little head on the top there. So we'll get that a build and then probably scrap it for parts at some point. Ordered another Clone Troopers battle pack here. This is the specialist pack that came out earlier this year. Got this for $16 now, so you can pretty much find these for 20% off nowadays, which definitely recommend go grabbing them if you're into building an army. I think at this point I have like 3 or 4 of these, so you know, I think that's pretty much it for me. I'm not really hugely into this. I mean, maybe if I need some to top off an Amazon order or something, I might grab another one, but otherwise, this is fine with me. And then this one I did break down and purchase full price just so I can have one. And that is the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. So this one was really surprising to see this one come out this year as well. You know, I was totally expecting to get this one next year, but so far LEGO has gone back to doing 2 packs a year. And this one's really fun, really cool to get those Ahsoka troopers, and then also Clone Captain Vaughn, which, you know, nothing's really special about him except the visor, so there's that. But yeah, really fun to get this. Hopefully this will go on sale soon too. Probably within the next couple months we'll see this for 20% off too. But I thought it was funny how, like, originally when this set was rumored to come out, it was rumored to release for $27, and everyone was losing their minds because they're like, how is this $27? That makes no sense. Like, what the hell is LEGO trying to do? And sure enough, it was actually just 20, so people can calm down. All right. Moving on here, picked up another set here. This one I got for $16, so 20% off. And that is the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Parrots. You know, this one, honestly, like I said, probably also going to scrap for parts at some point, but I think this would be a nice build to have and maybe put in here with my comic LEGO collection stuff. It's a nice little build to put next to a shelf, possibly. But I like the stand with this. You know, it's nice to have a little stand with some flowers. I think that really makes it pop a little bit more for me. Most people are probably going to ask if I'm going to get the pink version of this. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm just, you know, like I said, this set's eventually just going to end up getting scrapped for parts, so I'm not really too crazy about that. But, yeah, I think this will be a nice, fun build to put in display for a little bit. All right. Moving into here to some bigger sets. This next set I got was actually for my birthday. So a couple weeks ago at this point, my fiance and I went up to babysit her sister's kids for the weekend. So they did go ahead and give us some gift cards for our troubles. And then also, in addition to that, I did get my birthday gift from them a little early just because I wasn't going to be able to see them for my actual birthday, which is in October. So just wanted to thank Adam and Alicia for getting this for me for my birthday. I really appreciate it. And that is the LEGO Venomized Groot. 630 pieces. Yeah, this is really fun. As you can see behind me, I do have the original Groot that came out, I think, last year. So wanted to get this one just to put with that, and contemplating whether or not I want to have it be the half Groot, half Venom look, or if I want to just go that full Venom look. That really looks nice too. So I'm kind of torn on what I want to do. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. But yeah, probably will plan on building this sometime this month, since it is kind of like spooky, you know, kind of like Halloween themed, I guess. But I know I've talked about this a couple of times, or thought about this a couple of times when the set was announced, but I'm just really curious, like, what the inspiration was for this. Like, it's not like this is something that has appeared in a movie, or I mean, maybe it showed up in a comic and I just haven't read it. But I just am really curious, like, who thought of this idea to have like a Venomized Groot. I guess Venom must be really popular with kids, and that's why they integrated with so many sets nowadays with Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm just really curious, like, what spawned this idea. So, yeah, we'll get this a build at some point, but a really, really fun set to have there. All right, next set I got here was on a sale at Target, which was a couple weeks ago at this point. So sorry if you missed out, but obviously keep checking target.com for sales, but got this set for 20% off. So at this point, I think I have been able to get all the helmet sets, and that is the Lego Princess Leia Bouche helmet set here, which is, again, the last helmet set I needed for my collection. And if rumors are correct, probably the last helmet set we're ever going to see from Lego Star Wars, which is pretty sad in my opinion. I think there's, there's a lot of opportunity to make more helmet sets. But like I said, unfortunately, we probably won't be getting those. So, yeah, this one's really fun though. I think this is gonna be a really fun build. Definitely a lot of intricacies with the helmet design as a whole, but I'm really, really excited to build this. And again, just a really interesting build and choice here. Again, I wonder, obviously this was kind of trying to coincide with the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, so I get that. But yeah, just really interesting build there, and I'm really excited to build this. I don't have them to show here, but I did purchase more helmet stands from this Etsy retailer that I use. And I'm planning to do another project in this room where I display the hero helmets on this other door, above this other door in my room. So I have all the like Empire sets, like enemy or, you know, villain sets, helmet sets on one hand, and then I'm gonna put all the hero sets on the other side. So I'll be putting like the Bouche helmet, the Red 5 helmet, Boba, Captain Rex, and Cody probably in those slots, and then probably keep the Mando helmet with all my Mando sets. But just trying to free up some shelf space kind of on my shelves here in the room, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and the last set that I got here was one that I waited for a year to purchase. When it was originally announced, it was just way too out of my budget for me to consider purchasing. And sure enough, I saw a bunch of stuff online about how this set was 20% off on Walmart.com, and went ahead and purchased it. And that is the Lego 75337 ATTE Walker. So interestingly enough, I've never owned an ATTE in my collection. Growing up, I just never had the money or the funds to really go out and purchase a set like this. And obviously back then it was cheaper than it is now. This set retailed for $140. I think the most recent ATTE before this cost, I think, $90. So pretty significant price jump there, Lego. $50 is a lot, but that being said, you do get a lot of good stuff with this set. You obviously get the long-awaited Phase 2 Commander Cody. You get the 3 212 clone troopers, the clone gunner, as well as 3 droids and a spider droid. So a lot of good stuff to build here, and I'm really, really pumped to build this and display it with my collection here. I'm definitely going to go through and probably, you know, switch out some sets in my collection just so I can make some room for some of these newer ones I want to display. But yeah, really, really cool to get that, and probably will be waiting for the similar sale to happen to the gunship next year. So maybe it'll be sooner than that, who knows? But yeah, I'm really excited to get I was really excited to save $28 off of that. I think that's a really good you know, price discount there. But yeah, otherwise that was my Lego haul, so I gotta go put all this stuff away, and let's go ahead and get into the outro then for this video. Alright guys, so again, thank you so much for watching this haul video. So again, a lot of good stuff here. I know I kind of went on nauseam with some of this stuff, so this might be a really long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and obviously if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, and of course subscribing for more of this content. I do videos like these pretty much every week. I try to stick to that schedule, but obviously depending on what I buy and what comes in and the schedule of deliveries, that might change. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day here, and until next time, I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace.